Four to go in what has been a superb ABB FIA FormulaE World Championship season, and we begin here in London, the first of the final four races. Two double headers to come, two here at the 2022 LondonEprix, and then two at the SeoulEprix in a few weeks' time. There is the grid lit up, and we are ready to light up the indoor and outdoor circuit here at the Excel. Here's a look at how the grid will line up in this race that is going to be crucial for the championship. Lucas de Grassi had all of his lap times deleted, so he starts at the back. The two Neos are 20th and 21st. Antonio Giovinazzi hit the wall, so he's down in 19th place. Pascal Wehrlein struggled with any speed, and so he's down in 18th position. The two Mahindras are 16th and 17th. Sebastian Buemi lines up 15th. Verne and Evans are two title protagonists. They're 4th and 3rd in the championship, but they're 13th and 14th on the grid. Antonio Felix da Costa just missing out on the top 10 on what was a very difficult qualifying session for DS de Cheetah. He is there on the left-hand side. And now into the top 10 on the right-hand side in the green Envision. Robin Freins, the Dutchman, was a championship contender earlier on this season, has slipped away and will be looking for a points haul this afternoon. Eduardo Mortara is second in the championship, 11 points adrift of Stoffel van Dorn, but it's going to be a challenge for him to score big points this afternoon. He needs to make rapid progress. Andre Lotterer is going to be the first man on his target list, the Tag Heuer Porsche driver lining up in 8th position. The other Envision of Nick Cassidy, he was on pole position for the last two races in New York City, 7th today, looking to add another few points to his championship total. Max Günther has his best qualifying of the season in 6th place for the Nissan Edams team. The German driver has struggled until now. Oliver Askew with his best qualifying performance of the season in his rookie year for the man from Florida for the Avalanche Andretti team. Sergio Sedicamera, always exciting to watch. The Brazilian who drives for the Dragon squad is 4th on the grid. Reigning champion, not in championship contention this season, Nick de Vries. He is 3rd for Mercedes EQ, but Mercedes EQ are leading the team's championship, and with Stoffel van Dorn in 2nd place, they've got a great chance of extending that lead. Van Dorn is also the drivers' championship leader, 11 points clear, but it's the home hero, Jake Dennis, who will start on pole position for Avalanche Andretti. We light up the grid, we light up the Excel, and we are about to have an incredibly entertaining 45 minutes plus one lap of racing. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside me here in the commentary box in London is Dario Franchitti, the IndyCar legend. That's the rear view of Jake Dennis. That is the view, Dario, he's going to want to see the whole of this race.
Yeah, he's going to want to see 21 cars tucked up behind him today. But how can you not get built up? How is your pulse not racing with that kind of build up to the start of this race? The drivers now all focused on the braking zone for turn one, trying to make up some places or keep places in a lot of cases, like Jake Dennis. Looking forward to this one, Jack.
It's a big race for this man, Stoffel van Dorn. His title protagonists start a lot further back, his title rivals. He can extend his championship lead big style this afternoon if he gets a good result, but that's easier said than done in FormulaE. This is Mortara, he's 9th. He's 2nd in the championship, he's 9th on the grid. He needs to be aggressive in these opening laps. That's going to be the interesting thing with Van Dorn. Evans and Verne all the way back in 13th and 14th on the grid as we get ready for the race start. Evans on pole position, Stoffel van Dorn alongside him. Eduardo Mortara, 2nd in the championship, is back in 9th place. The LondonEprix about to get underway. Nerves in the DS de Cheetah garage. All 5 lights are on, and we go green in London. So very quick lights out, and it's a very good start from Van Dorn, but Dennis comes across, covers the inside. Nick de Vries in the other Mercedes backs out of it as they turn into the left-hander at the first corner. Dennis holds the lead, Mercedes 2nd and 3rd, side by side further back, and there's an accident. Sam Bird is involved, he's got a bit of damage, and it's with Mortara. Eduardo Mortara, 2nd in the championship, has got no front wing, and Sam Bird, for the 3rd race in London in a row, looks to be out on the opening lap in the Jaguar. Mortara's got big front left damage, he crunches over his own front wheel cover and manages to keep going. So he's lost places, I think, Mortara, and he's down into 15th position. So there's chaos on the exit of 2 and 3. Dennis leads, Van Dorn 2nd, de Vries 3rd. Da Costa managed to get him into 11th. Evans on the attack. He immediately gets him into 13th ahead of Oliver Rowland. But all of the front runners lost ground at the start, and Mortara has damage at the front, Dario.
Yeah, absolutely. The suspension looks okay, Jack, but the front wing clearly missing, and that's going to mean the front of the car is going to slide terribly. He's going to overheat those front tyres. This is not good. You see Sam Bird helping to push the car back out of harm's way. try and avoid a full course yellow, and I think they're going to get it done before the cars come round the 22 corners. This is them in turn 21 already. Nearly at the end of the lap. Sam Bird is about 3 corners further round.
Dennis across the line, leads the race. Van Dorn and De Vries are in second and third. Sete Camera is in fourth position for the Dragon team. A little bit defensive there from Nick Cassidy because he's got Van Dorn right behind him. You can hear the cheers for Dennis as he comes through the first sequence of corners. There's Evans, who is up into 13th place, and Mortara pits.
The suspension is broken, sorry, Jack.
You can see the wheel, it's not straight. Mortara's in the pits, and this is an absolute disaster for the man who is second in the championship. Pulls up. What are they going to do here? They're going to look at the suspension and decide whether it's safe to send him back out.
Because if it snaps, you're going to have a really big accident if suspension snaps. It's definitely bent instead of changing the nose.
New front wing for Mortara.
They're going to send him back out, though. I mean, this is a problem. Having a bad qualifying puts you back in the mess. Things like this happen.
And, well, I just saw one of the mechanics do the it's dead kind of thing because the steering's in the wrong direction, and Mortara's saying let's go. The team is saying now suspension's broken. Mortara's saying no, let's get on with it. So we'll keep an eye on that. Dennis, Van Dorn, De Vries, Sete Camera. That's the top 4 as they come back inside again into the XL through the left-hander, the final turn at Leapfrog, and down the start-finish straight down towards Victoria and Albert, turns 1 and 2.
Sort of a contact between Lotter and Cassidy just as they came into turn 21. See the flag that signifies there's some either fluid or a part of a car, in this big case maybe in the next sector of track.
Dennis leading. There is Mortara back out on circuit, so they have sent him back out, and he now has to hope. You can see the steering wheel on the right-hand side. You can actually, the front right is not properly sort of clasped in, is it? On the top of the wheel covers.
No, the bodywork. And if that wheel starts moving at speed, then you know you've got a big problem because the suspension is flexing, and then you have to pit.
But Mortara needs a safety car to get anywhere near back into anything resembling this race. So let's focus on the front now. Dennis leading, Van Dorn in second, Nick De Vries in third. Then it's Sergio Sete Camera in fourth position. They're coming up towards the anchor here. There was a bit more debris on the circuit there, and a lock-up for Stoffel Van Dorn. Attack mode activation is on the outside of the corner, and the two Diesta cheaters fighting, and that's Verne and Da Costa going wheel to wheel, and Da Costa is getting ahead of Verne. They're still together, and Da Costa is in 10th place, Verne in 11th. No helping each other out there as teammates.
So much for team orders. So see Da Costa a little bit slow through turn 21. This is turn 22, back inside again. You see how smooth the surface is inside the XL. As we get onto the outside again, you've got concrete surface, then you've got the bumpy tarmac of the London streets, manhole covers, painted lines and all. But let's look back at the start. Great start from everybody, apart from back there you see one of the Diesta cheetahs.
Mortara actually got a bad start.
Horrendous start.
And then let's try and keep an eye on Mortara and the Jaguar. Coming into view here, there's 3 of them all together. Birds up on the inside. Oh, and then they all just 3 into 1 didn't go.
So Verne was on the outside for the first corner. He got squeezed into the wall. And then you see them go 3 wide, and Sam Bird is the unlucky one there, as is Edo Mortara. Jean-Ric Verne, I think, got away with one. As you see, Da Costa in the first of the black and gold Conchitas locking up into the chicane at turn 10.
The top 8 all in the same positions they started in. Giovinazzi's gained 4 places, De Grassi's gained 5 places, and activated his attack mode. Big lock up there for Nick De Vries, who's running in 4th place. And there's a look up the inside from Sims, and that opens the door for Roland went up the inside, and that opened the door for Sims, and De Grassi is fighting them as well as they go wheel to wheel back towards the indoor section of the circuit, up the crest into Slip East and back indoors. So De Grassi is now back down to 16th.
Yeah, De Grassi is damaged as well. Front wing, the left side looks like it's hanging off a bit, so he's going to...
Hey, here comes Sergio Sete Camera up the inside of De Vries into turn 1. He forces his way through.
What a phenomenal pass.
Sete Camera on the attack. Gets ahead of Nick De Vries. So suddenly the Mercedes EQ drops down to 4th position. Sergio Sete Camera in that white and red Dragon Penske has scored 0 points so far this season, and now he's running in 3rd place.
And if you're Stoffel Van Dorn, it's one thing looking in the mirror and seeing your teammate thinking, okay, I've got this under control, he's going to help me out, he's going to play the team game. It's another thing seeing Sergio Sete Camera in that white and red Dragon Penske that has scored no points this year. So Van Dorn in the silver Mercedes is going to put more pressure now on Jake Dennis, I think, to try and get past him, get away from Sergio Sete Camera behind. Seti Camera's got nothing to lose.
Yeah. As it stands, Stoffel Van Dorn would have 173 points at the top of the championship, and that would be a 29-point lead over Eduardo Mortara with 3 races to go. And Verne hits the back of Da Costa, and that allows the Nissan of Buemi to go past both of them. Diaz Techeetah, they had a terrible qualifying, and now they're not doing themselves any favours in the race. They've just knocked themselves out of the points-paying positions.
Why would you hit your teammate in that situation? I mean, the Diaz Techeetah guys are going to be furious with that. It's just not on.
Jake Dennis is leading. Then Van Dorn is second. Sete Camera third. Then we've got Jean-Eric Verne in car 25 there. And De Grassi's on the attack, going to the inside. Bit of contact, I think, with the very strong defence of Oliver Rowland. And he manages to keep the place at the moment as Rowland. 38 minutes plus a lap to go.
Yeah, De Grassi was trying to move. He's got attack mode. He's the only one to have taken attack mode so far. You saw Oliver Rowland thinking, nope, not today, old son. This is out of turn 8 through turn 9. Bump through the middle of turn 9. There's a long run all the way up to the new chicane at turn 10. Not really an overtaking opportunity, even with the extra power that Lucas De Grassi has in that black Venturi that's missing the front wing.
It's 2 lots of 6 minutes, the attack mode today, so that's why we're seeing it for a little longer. Another big lockup on the right front for Nick de Vries. So we'll see whether, and there is Robin Freitz activating it in 9th position. You get 13% power boost for 6 minutes, but you have to activate twice in the race. So you lose positions to gain it, but then you have to use it, but then you have more power. And it was interesting what Dennis was saying on the grid. He said you don't want to be ahead going into the second attack mode activation, because then they can undercut you from behind. But if the field is close enough, then you can't undercut. And there goes Robin Freitz to the inside, trying to get past, and he does manage to get ahead of Sebastian Buemi into the first corner. So Freitz goes through. Buemi now down to 10th position. Freitz lost the position to Buemi when he activated attack mode, and now he's managed to get it back. As we come outside again, down towards Sunborn Complex, we go on board with Robin Freitz, who's up in 9th place.
And Freitz did a great job of cleaning that debris off the track as well. He skittled it across, and yeah, off it went. You watch how close Freitz is getting to the wall, and you've seen all these drivers are going to be absolutely inch perfect. Not much lifting and coasting, not much regenerating as he comes into the chicane of turn 10. Watch the rear of the car sliding a bit, almost on cue.
So there you can see 2 attack modes remaining for everyone in the field, bar Freitz and De Grassi. Dennis is still leading, but he's still got Stoffel Van Dorn right behind him. Attack mode activated for Max Gunther now. So he comes out behind Nick Cassidy. Freitz is under a bit of pressure. Oh no, he's just got ahead of Lotterer, hasn't he? Because Lotterer activated his attack mode also. So Lotterer is down the order. Cassidy's now into 6th place. Freitz is now in 8th position. Verne is back up into 10th. In fact, both the Techeetahs have managed to get back ahead of Sebastian Buemi. But Dennis is the leader. Van Dorn is second. Sete Camera is third. The blue lights on the cars mean that they are in attack mode and have that extra power. No lights on the front mean that they are not. And it's very easy to see on the indoor section who has them on and who doesn't.
Yeah, Max Gunther in the red and black Nissan all over the back of Nick Cassidy ahead of him. And you've got to think Gunther's going to try coming out of turn 9 to use that extra power to slipstream past Cassidy, but he's got to do it in a hurry though, because if he wants to take advantage of the attack mode, an extra 13% of power, he's got to do it now.
Dennis is leading as we come into Custom House. The chicane through the right and the left. There's a bit of a gap back then to Nick Cassidy. The top 5 have broken kind of clear. Shout out to Oliver Askew, who's running in 5th place at the moment. His best ever FormulaE result was 9th in his first ever race in FormulaE. Another lockup from De Vries. This time he activates attack mode, and so does Askew. Are they going to come out in front of the Envision? Yes, they are. So that's actually really strong for De Vries and Askew, because they can now almost try and undercut those at the front of the order, because they are going to have some clear track ahead of them to try and close down Van Dorn, Sete Camera and Dennis.
And it's huge from Oliver Askew, I would say, just in his whole race strategy at the moment.
Across the line they come, 1.8 seconds, set their camera back to De Vries now. So that's about, you're going to lose about 1.5 seconds activating this attack mode. That's the window you want to try and have if you want to activate attack mode and come out ahead of the person you were ahead of previously.
Yeah, and Seti Camera, I think he's got to do it this lap.
Yeah.
Otherwise he's going to start losing places, and then you're on equal terms, because the car it's just past you has got attack mode as well. As you see on board, Stoffel Van Dorn just shadowing Jake Dennis. Jake Dennis doing a wonderful job too, just holding the lead. He's not trying to get too far ahead though, because he ends up using extra energy to do that. wears the tyres out. If there's a safety car, the gap comes back to him anyway.
So is Van Dorn going to take attack mode on this lap? We're coming up to the anchor now.
Dennis.
He'll stay to the left-hand side.
Dennis is taking it.
Dennis and Van Dorn take it, and Sete Camera. The top three all go through, but De Vries has got back ahead of Sete Camera. So that's worked nicely for Nick De Vries to do the undercut and get back ahead of Sergio Sete Camera and back into third place, the Dutchman for the Mercedes EQ squad. But Sete Camera will have a lap of extra power when De Vries is in normal power mode. 220 kilowatts in the regular mode, 250 kilowatts in attack mode. That's Ian James, he's the team principal of Mercedes EQ. Everybody now, bar Nick Cassidy, is in attack mode pretty much, because you can see the lights flashing as they come down into the first corner.
Guys near the back haven't really taken attack mode yet. I wonder if they're sort of hoping at some point for a safety car, bunch things up, and then take it shortly thereafter and try and make some progress up the field. A lot of different strategies going on. Lucas de Grassi, 15th, up 7 places at the moment.
Buemi's up 5 in 10th position in the Nissan. This is the view back from Jake Dennis.
Okay, eyes forwards, keep it smooth.
Keep it smooth is the advice to Dennis.
Engineer stating the obvious. Very calm though, you can hear the car bottoming out on those kinks in 14 and 15.
Down into the anchor once more. Through the right-hander, and it's all neat and tidy for Jake Dennis. Huge grandstand attendance here this weekend, which is fantastic to see. The first Formula E race in London with fans since 2016, end of 2016 it would have been, for the end of season 2. Last year was behind closed doors due to the global pandemic, as now Jake Dennis comes out over the start-finish straight again. His advantage over Van Dorn, 7/10 of a second. De Vries then in 3rd position, Sete Camera in 4th, Askew is in 5th. Down into turn 1. Robin Freitz there running in 8th position. Cassidy in the first of the green Envision cars is the only driver in the top 11 to have not activated an attack mode yet. On board with Freitz. Down into the Sunborn complex.
And you watch these drivers, look how close they're getting to the wall. They're absolutely on the limit of the car, just trying to close the gap to the cars in front of them, trying to make a move. Jake Dennis's case, trying to stay ahead of the car in front. You've just got to be inch perfect, brake at exactly the right spot, get back to the throttle. And if you hit one of these curbs slightly incorrectly, you're going to end up in the wall. They've absolutely no runoff. Look how close it is. Watch how they hit the curve in turn 19 and just see how close they get. Big lock up in front of Cassidy, Oliver Askew.
Forceful attack from Andre Lotterer as he tries to get ahead of Robin Freitz for 8th position. Lotterer can't quite get it done. Freitz is out of attack mode now. Look how much they attack the curve coming through that sequence of corners at 19 and 20, and then out over the start finish straight again. Jake Dennis still leading the race. Van Dorn in 2nd, De Vries in 3rd. But De Vries will be out of attack mode earlier than Sergio Sete Camera. Then there's Askew, then there's Cassidy, then there's Gunter, then there's Freitz. Lotterer, Buemi, Verne, Evans, Verne. Oh, so it was Da Costa, sorry. Evans, Verne, Sims, De Grassi. Then a bit of a gap back to Giovinazzi and Verline and the gang. Back at the front, Van Dorn still biding his time at the moment. There's Mortara just coming through, who is still 42 seconds off the back of the... No, in fact, he's 1 minute and 6 seconds behind Jake Dennis. So he's just pounding round, praying for a safety car, but even at this point it's going to be a long way adrift.
Yeah, and he's running decent lap times even with that damage. You know, somewhat competitive lap times. He had a 16.6 last lap, the leader did a 15.7, and it's going to be disconcerting with the steering moving around. You see the cars get slightly airborne as they get on the brakes through up to turn 16. Right when they want to start braking, there's a bump, and you see the car going slightly airborne. So it just focuses the driver's attention as we see Sims in the 2nd of the, Roland in the 2nd of the Mahindras taking attack mode.
Less than half an hour plus a lap to go.
I had a 50% chance to get it right.
Well, they both have yellow helmets, it's very annoying. Here comes Jake Dennis across the line, still leading, the man from Nuneaton, heading the field into Victoria and Albert, the left and right that start the lap. Van Dorn is in 2nd, De Vries is in 3rd. As it stands, Van Dorn's championship lead would increase dramatically to around about, well, almost 30 points if it finished like this. And that is the question of how much risk Van Dorn wants to take. De Vries is going to be out of attack mode now in the next 10 seconds. We're on board with him here. And Sete Camera, who we've already seen make a strong move on him, is going to be on the attack before too long. So I think as we come down into the next few corners, we'll be watching Nick de Vries just have a little check of his mirrors to see where Sete Camera is behind, because he's always been overtaken once on track as they come down into the anchor.
Just watching his head, watching to see if he's looking for the mirror. No.
Chilled about it. Through attack mode, finally goes Nick Cassidy. Comes out behind Max Günther, so drops a place down into 7th, but that's Cassidy's first attack mode activation.
Yeah, he's going to have to get past Günther in a hurry, and he does. He's set up already.
Wow.
Günther was not expecting that. Look at the damage to the back of Cassidy's car.
So Cassidy gets through and is up into 6th position. Now he needs to try and make hay and close in on the back. He's got 5.5 minutes in attack mode here. He's got a chance of catching the back of that top 5 here, Nick Cassidy. It's a nice little race from he and his race engineer, Robert Sattler, who between them work out the strategy and what he's going to do. And he's doing a sort of offset strategy compared to everybody else, and it's working pretty well. That
was absolutely key, Jack, though, to get that passed on Max Günther quickly for Nick Cassidy, and that could be the difference between getting a top 5 and not, basically. Really great racecraft from Nick Cassidy and the Envision car.
Sete Camera out of attack mode, so he wasn't able to make the move on Nick de Vries. The top 5 are all out of attack mode. Dennis is good, usable energy-wise, 62%. 61 for Van Dorn, 60 for de Vries. So Dennis is in a really strong position, controlling the race and more energy.
He's also got to look after the tyres. You see one of the Nissans heading down. Oh, touching Robin Freins.
Günther and Freins right together. Lotterer fancies another nose in, and he still can't quite get the move made on Robin Freins. Up the hill towards the right-hander. These two have had quite a few squabbles on track this season. Evans lunging and making it through into the final turn. Nice stuff from Evans. Gets Sebastian Buemi into the penultimate corner at turn 21, and he is now up into 11th place. And now defending here is Buemi again from Jean-Eric Verne, who's trying to come around the outside in the DS Techeetah. De Grassi's on the attack. On the defence, trying to keep Roland behind. And I think Verne went in deep. Vernon maybe had contact there with Sebastian Buemi into the first corner. Has he got damage? The DS Techeetah is dropping back through the field.
Did he have damage with or contact with the wall rather? Because the exit of 2 becomes the exit of 1 becomes the apex of 2 rather, and it looked like he slid off. Maybe had some contact with the wall, and he's oversteering again. Has he got damage to the left rear of the car, or is he just pushing too hard?
At the moment, none of the title protagonists other than Van Dorn is going to score. I think Van Dorn's out of this race.
Verne is in trouble.
Oh, sorry, Verne. Yeah, I think Verne's out of this race. Van Dorn is running comfortably in 2nd position. But Jean-Eric Verne looks like he's in trouble. And Van Dorn might be the only championship fighter to score any points in this E-Prix. Askew's activated his 2nd attack mode, as has Max Günther, De Costa and Buemi. Here's Jake Dennis, the race leader. 26 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Dennis still leading the way. Van Dorn in 2nd, De Vries in 3rd, Sete Camera in 4th. Then it's Askew, who's in attack mode, coming under pressure from Nick Cassidy, then Günther, then Freins, then Lotterer, then De Costa, then Evans, Roland, De Grassi, Buemi, Sims, that's Verne, and that's Verline, and that's Oliver Turvey, and that is Antonio Giovinazzi at the back of the pack at the moment. But here are the top 4 that have broken away a little bit now from Oliver Askew, because Askew took his 2nd attack mode.
And Stoffel Van Dorn, his team are going to be relaying to him, look, the other championship guys are just not in the fight. You've got your teammate behind you, so let's just keep it calm here. If you can get him with a no-risk move, obviously do it, but don't be taking any risk.
25 minutes plus 1 lap to go.
Or at least that's what I would be saying to him if I was his engineer. But a big lock-up from De Vries again, going into attack mode. And because it's further around the corner, you can brake so much later. Nick De Vries losing the absolute minimum of time as he takes attack mode.
Now, last time out, De Vries managed to use attack mode to undercut and get ahead of Sergio Sete Camera. Can he do the same to his teammate? Is that going to be Mercedes EQ's aim? I can't imagine they would be trying to get De Vries ahead of Van Dorn, but maybe this is now going to force Dennis to take attack mode, and that could release Van Dorn into the lead of the race if they're playing them together.
You've got to think they are at this point. I mean, Mercedes are smart. Nick De Vries knows what side his bread's buttered, and he wants to beat his teammate, but Stoffel Van Dorn, through consistency and done a great job this season, has put himself in championship winning position. So they've now got to execute, and you've got to play the team game. The prize money is awarded for the team's championship.
And whether...
Push to attack now, stay close, push to attack, fixed, attack fixed.
Okay, so attack fixed means take attack mode whatever happens. Even if Dennis takes attack mode, you take attack mode also. That's Stephen Lane on the radio to Stoffel Vandoorne. So does Dennis take it as well? Yes, he does.
Yep.
So both Dennis and Vandoorne activate attack mode, and they hold on to their respective first and second places. Dennis pushed and gained quite a bit of ground on Vandoorne before activating attack mode. So he's got a fairly big advantage, Jake Dennis, as he comes up back into the XL once more.
The question is now, does he use a bit of the tyre up to keep that advantage, or does he just let Stoffel Vandoorne come back to him a bit? You've got to play that game a little, because the tyres, 2 times 6 minutes, was a horrendous amount of stress on the rear tyres of the car. Every time you go to the throttle, it just overheats them a little bit more, so you've got to be a little careful with that. And it looks like Dennis is just playing the sensible game, playing the long game.
Evans is up into the points. He's just got ahead of Andre Lotterer. He is still in his first attack mode, Evans, and there's Oliver Rowland. And he appears to be grinding to a halt, despite the applause from the crowd.
Front suspension damage, it looks like, Jack.
Yeah, it looks as though Dennis is out of the running. Cassidy's only just ended his first attack mode, and he is pretty much there with Askew and the gang behind. There's the Avalanche Andretti team, and there is the Mercedes EQ team. And Dennis has good usable energy. Sete Camera is the driver with comfortably the least in the top 21.
I'm not sure it's comfortable.
Oh, no, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's going to be a worrying thing for Sete Camera.
1% down on Dennis, 1% up on Nick.
So that's Vandoorne being told you're 1% down on Dennis, 1% up on Nick. And if you're Vandoorne in second place, you're thinking, oh, well, that's not ideal. Fan boost winners, Vandoorne, Da Costa, Evans, De Grassi, and they all get a 1 second power boost, a 5 second power boost in the second half of the race, up to 250 kilowatts of power. Robin Freitz with some aggressive defending, and Da Costa manages to get around the outside of him. We saw Rowland pulling into the garage, his race is run, but yeah, Freitz with some rather dramatic defending there.
Yeah, a bit odd, really. You heard the engineers give the energy figures to the driver, because basically they see the same thing we do. They don't have the information. We actually have as much information as they do when it comes to energy figures of other cars. See Rowland heading off into the cubicle, take his helmet off, and not a great end to his home race, his first of his home race. He's got a chance to make amends tomorrow.
Absolutely. 21 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. There is the top 5 altogether, or top 6 altogether, because Cassidy's in there as well. He's gained 1 place, Cassidy, but he's looking pretty strong. That looks like it looked like it was going to be a lunge from Evans, but Freitz actually activated his attack mode anyway, so Evans gets up into 9th place. That's another position gain for the Jaguar driver. De Grassi's now up 10 spots and into 12th position, and he's only used 1 attack mode, so he's making pretty good progress here, Lucas De Grassi. But there are the leaders through again. Dennis, Vandoorne, De Vries, Sete Camera, Askew, the top 5. Now they have no attack modes remaining. Cassidy has 1, Evans has 1, Lotterer and De Grassi have 1. So those are the drivers who are a little bit offset compared to everybody else. Down into the first corner again. Verne is dropping right back. He's now into the clutches of Oliver Turvey. And the Neo is one of the slowest cars on the grid, so there's got to be damage on Verne's car.
I think Cassidy will, depending if he's trying to be offensive or defensive, will depend if he takes his attack mode this lap, or if he's trying to stay ahead of the cars in front or attack the cars ahead of him.
2 seconds to the Nissan of Gunter. He's got to be offensive.
I think he's got to go. Yeah.
20 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Or does he wait until they're all out of attack mode in 1 lap's time? He keeps going for now in the green Envision at the back of the queue. Lock up from Max Gunter. He's kind of all by himself in that 7th place before the Da Costa, Evans, Freitz group of cars come through the anchor.
Oh, problem for the Porsche.
Yeah, that was slow. That was odd. Lotterer just didn't really get off the corner, and De Grassi made it through.
I think we're seeing the tyres starting to get really warm. The car's sliding around more than they were earlier in the race, and that increases the workload for the drivers. They're going to be changing settings in the car, but in a lot of ways they've just got to hang on to it and deal with the imbalance. The grip level front to rear of the car, as they all start, as the tyres overheat, the car starts sliding around even more.
19 minutes plus 1 lap to go in the LondonEprix, the first race of the weekend here in the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. And Jake Dennis is continuing to lead, with Stoffel van Dorn in second place. De Vries and Sende Camera are in third and fourth. This is Andre Lotterer, who just lost out to Lucas de Grassi. They're at the top four again, coming into the Custom House chicane.
Watched Askew just sliding through the first part of the chicane, and he almost had to gather up just a little bit in the second apex, but he's doing a great job, as is Sergio Sette Camera ahead of him in the Dragon Penske. But we see this man, Jake Dennis, just calmly going about his business.
No stress for Dennis just yet, is there? It's been very clean and well managed from both him and the team so far. We're past half race distance, but Van Dorn is going to be closing in before too long. He has the gap. He was 0.4 of a second quicker on the last lap compared to Dennis, and this lap they do about the same lap time, so the gap remains at a second between Jake Dennis in the lead and Stoffel van Dorn, the championship leader in the Mercedes EQ, in second place. Diaz Techeetah looking concerned because Da Costa in 8th is their best hope, but Jake Dennis is Roger Griffiths' driver in the lead. And there's the conversation going on in the pit wall for Mercedes EQ. Less than 18 minutes to go. Dennis and Van Dorn about to end their second attack modes, with Dennis heading the field. He's had 2 Formula E victories before, Jake Dennis, here in London and in Valencia last season. The 27-year-old.
And his team jokingly refer to him as Hollywood.
Do they?
Yes, but he when it's time to get down to business, you can see he absolutely knows what he's doing. He's got a beautiful, smooth driving style, as Stoffel van Dorn behind him does. Silky smooth steering inputs, and you just watch the way he guides the car around the circuit. So impressive.
You can see we're on board with Van Dorn in the tower on the top left-hand side. Sebastian Buemi has been given a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision with Jean-Eric Vergne. We saw them going side by side into the first corner, and Buemi is given the penalty after the contact. Right, this is a lap of the LondonEprix circuit, riding with Stoffel van Dorn as he tries to take Jake Dennis down for the lead of the race, as he pops outside now and down towards the Sunborn complex.
This is driver's eye, the camera right next to it, funnily enough, the driver's eye. This is him through turn 8, now back to the throttle, over to the left, open up the corner for turn 9, back to that long, we see some traffic ahead of Jake Dennis ahead, but you can see the eyes of Stoffel van Dorn darting around, looking at the gauges. Look in the mirror, you might see his teammate. Yeah, saw Nick de Vries a second ago. But look how much the bumps are moving the driver's head around. That's what the driver has to deal with, and focus with millimetre precision. Back to the brakes, watch him just catch a bit of oversteer, slowly turn it in. You watch him gain under braking, lose a bit under acceleration. Watch him hit the curb in a second, he's going to go right and then hammer the curb on the left. Back up the east ramp, watch for the camera changing. The driver's eyes react more quickly than the camera. Last corner now. Here the car sliding across the surface, looking down at his information on his dash that we've pixelated so other teams can't see it. And there you go.
Doing a good job, mate. Remember, no big risks. Good job.
I would agree with that. I think Stoffel van Dorn's doing a great job.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Stoffel van Dorn is leading the championship. He doesn't need to lunge it on Jake Dennis. Mitch Evans, at the moment, is third in the standings. If he finishes in this 8th place, he will pick up 4 points in the championship. He'll drop further back. He'll be in third place.
The fan was to help the gap.
But Van Dorn would be 29 points clear of Eduardo Mortara as it stands. Evans told to use fan boost to try and close the gap, and we'll see when he decides to use it. Thought it would have been there, but he doesn't. Maybe it'll be on the run down towards the anchor at turn 16.
And that gap is 4 seconds, Jack, so that's going to take some closing at this point in the race. 3.8 now.
Less than 15 minutes to go. Cassidy activates his second attack mode. So Nick Cassidy in 6th position activates his second attack mode. We're on board with Evans as he comes around the left-hander of turn 17, then starts to climb the hill.
See Mortara, the black rocket Venturi in your screen. He's almost a lap down now to his championship protagonist, Stoffel van Dorn. I'll get it right in a second, but Jake Dennis is going to come up and lap him in a second. He'll have to get out of the way. The blue flag, the blue lights will come on. he's going to move aside.
As it stands, Mortara 29 points behind. Evans would be 30 points behind Stoffel Vandoorne.
Mega pace, mega pace.
And mega pace is the message to Mitch Evans. Verne would be 49 points off the championship lead if it finished like this. Sorry, 45 points off the championship lead if it finished like this. And he's not going to score anything, Jean-Eric Verne. So, Dennis, Vandoorne, the top two. Vandoorne continuing to chase him down. Vandoorne has got fan boost if he wants to use it at any point. But as Stephen Lane was saying, no big risks.
He knows as well. You can see Jake Dennis, he knows the situation, leading his home race. Jake Dennis, nothing to lose in the championship. So if Stoffel Vandoorne makes a move, it better be a big move, because otherwise Jake Dennis is just going to close the door. There's going to be contact, and Stoffel Vandoorne's going to lose the potential 18 points that he would get for finishing second here.
These two have dropped Nick de Vries fairly comfortably, who also is 1.7 seconds ahead of Sete Camera, and actually 4th, 5th and 6th is the battle, because Cassidy is in attack mode now. You can see them all coming through just behind the top three. We've then got Sete Camera, Askew and Cassidy right together. Looking back from Jake Dennis as Vandoorne leads the way. 13 minutes plus 1 lap to go as they come down towards the chicane. Through the right, through the left, but here's the battle. Look, Sete Camera, Askew, and crucially, Cassidy is in attack mode, and Cassidy goes for it into the chicane. Nick Cassidy flying through the order now. The Envision driver can see 4th position in his sights, which would be a great result for him.
And that would be the turn 10 area we said you couldn't pass on.
Yeah.
Let's look for him now. He's too far back in 16, but he might do one of those lunges into turn 21, the hairpin, as he enters the XL Stadium again.
Through the left-hander of turn 17, then swinging it right. We'll keep an eye on Dennis in the top left. You can see his rear view of Stoffel Vandoorne, so if anything goes on there, we'll see it. But Nick Cassidy, the New Zealander, who won 2 races ago in New York City, is on the attack to try and get Sergio Sete Camera for 4th position. Here they come, down the start-finish straight towards turn 1. Sete Camera covers the inside a little bit, but Cassidy knows he's got 3 minutes of attack road remaining. He's got plenty of time to try and make this move. Sete Camera in the Dragon is looking for his first points of the season.
You've got to feel if Cassidy wanted to try and get on the podium, he might have missed a chance just with that extra half lap he spent behind Sergio Sete Camera. But the next move, we saw him do the lap before into turn 10, which is coming up. He got off turn 9 very well. Look for the same move. Here he goes.
Cassidy up the inside and through. Nick Cassidy gets ahead, coming into Custom House, and now he's up into 4th place. He's got 2.5 minutes of attack mode. He is 2 seconds back from Nick de Vries. This is maybe on for the Envision driver.
Doable, absolutely, but it's not only the fact he's got the extra power, the straight line speed. Look how quickly he sailed the car through the chicane of 10, 11, 12, 13.
Satisfied nod from Sylvain Philippi, the team principal at the Envision Racing team. Evans activates his 2nd attack mode, but he's still 3 seconds off the back of Max Gunter, so 7th is about the best he can do. So ignore Eduardo Mortara in 48. Race leader here is 27, red and white. Jake Dennis leading Vandoorne, leading de Vries, and now de Vries in car 17 is being closed in on by Nick Cassidy in the green Envision, car number 37. Can he get up onto the podium places, which would be a really good result for Cassidy?
Yeah, he caught de Vries 4/10 that lap, and that included the overtaking manoeuvre in turn 10. So in clear track now, let's see what he can do. Let's see how much he can close the gap to the silver Mercedes of Nick de Vries.
10 minutes plus a lap to go. Through the right-hander at Sandstone, after this Sandstone lane that they now turn onto. Down towards Custom House in and Custom House out, the tube station that you can just see just behind. And then down towards the anchor. Deep breath for Ian James. It's a Mercedes versus Envision fight over the final podium position, and he's making some gains on this lap. Only 4 for half a second so far on this lap. Meanwhile, Askew is now on the back of Sete Camera. They're fighting over 5th position, so battles on both fronts. Meanwhile, Andre Lotterer is trying to get ahead of Robin Freitz to the outside, coming into the anchor, gets on the power to try and get back, but Freitz is holding that place in the tower on the left-hand side. Dennis leads, Vandoorne 2nd. What is the gap this time between Cassidy and de Vries? It comes down another 7/10, so it's 1.1 seconds, but Cassidy's only got 30 seconds of attack mode remaining. Keep an eye on Lotterer on the tower, because this could be Lotterer's chance to get Robin Freitz. Freitz covers the inside. Lotterer tries to dummy him, but isn't quite able to do it. Oh, Freitz goes in deep. Can Lotterer get the cutback coming out? No, not quite. Freitz is defending nicely, but it's all over 11th place. So a bit disappointing, I think, for Freitz that he's fighting over 11th, and we're watching Cassidy, his teammate, who's out of attack mode now, in 4th place, trying to get him into 3rd.
It's going to be hard to close that gap now. The pace of the Mercedes clearly very good. Nick de Vries not known for making many mistakes. But a valiant attempt from Nick Cassidy to move up the field.
Here's the energy remaining. De Vries is pretty low compared to Cassidy, so that might come into play in the closing stages.
Seti Camera defending more and more from Oliver Askew as well, so I don't know if the balance has gone away from the Dragon Penske car. There's clearly a small difference in energy numbers, but yeah, defending most of the way around the lap from the Avalanche Andretti car of Oliver Askew behind him. Here
is the Porsche of Andre Lotterer. It looks like neither Porsche are going to pick up points, and an interesting decision here for Robin Freitz. The stewards have just declared a 5-second time penalty for moving under braking for Robin Freitz. So we've not seen the stewards really clamp down on that before, but this weekend they are. So that's an interesting thing.
Which corner is
the
that?
drivers will know. I presume that was down into 1 on the last lap. Giovinazzi's also been given a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision with Oliver Turvey.
I think the envisioned car of Robin Freitz hit the wall in the apex of turn 6. I think he went in just a little too tight and bounced it off the wall.
Lotterer will now have been told that Freitz has a time penalty. They're both battling outside the points. Dennis's lead is 1.3 seconds.
And the gap between Freitz and de Grassi ahead of him is nearly 5 seconds. Going to be hard for Lotterer to go past. Right. And to close that gap up.
So, Jake Dennis across the line, leading the way there in the red and white Andretti. Silver Mercedes EQ of Van Dorn is next up. Then it's Nick de Vries running in 3rd, and Nick Cassidy running in 4th position. 5th is Sergio Sede Camera, and he's only just ahead of Askew and Gunter, who's joined that fight. Mitch Evans, too, has a minute and a half or so of attack mode remaining, so he might be able to join the Gunter Askew Sede Camera squabble.
And it just takes them, Gunter Askew, Seti Camera, to start holding each other up a little bit with some side-by-side driving. And Mitch Evans is right back in that fight, the potential of a few more serious points, which he's going to need with Stoffel Van Dorn, one of the guys he's fighting for the championship up in 2nd right now.
There is Van Dorn, looking set to extend his championship lead to a very large 29 points. Well, actually, it might not be quite that many if Evans can make up places, as you say, but as it stands, it will be 29. And that would be, look, in no way insurmountable, but
it's a lot more difficult than it was yesterday.
Absolutely. A race wins advantage, a pole fastest lap and race wins advantage with just 3 races to go would be a very, very strong position for Stoffel Van Dorn to be in. 5.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Down over the start-finish straight we go once more.
Just to rub things in, Jake Dennis has the fastest lap of the race as well.
And Gunter's got Sete Camera. The fight over 6th place. Gunter has managed to get Sete Camera coming down into the first corner, I think.
So Sete Camera had a very slow last sector, really slow, over a second off.
Oh, so maybe there was a mistake, or maybe the action was there. Here it is. So Askew running in 5th, and now Gunter in the Nissan is going to try and close down on him. Evans at the back has caught them and is in attack mode. He might be able to get Sete Camera here, coming down in towards the chicane. He's got a fan boost to use as well. Evans to the inside, into Custom House. Through he goes. 8th place now. De Grassi's on his fan boost, but I think that's just to get it used because he's nowhere near anyone in front and no one near anyone behind. Evans now to try and close in on Gunter and Askew. He can see 5th place here, Evans. 5th place is not impossible for the Jaguar driver. So wibbly-wobbly for Gunter into the braking zone.
Yeah, big mistake, lost the rear a bit, and that's just got Evans, even closer. And I think if you're right now, Max Gunter, you've looked in the mirror, you've seen the Jaguar, you think, oh no, because you know how quick, how aggressive Mitch Evans is.
So this would move Evans up into 2nd in the championship. Now he's moved up into 7th place. He would still be 28 points behind Stoffel van Dorn, but a bit better than before.
And Mitch Evans, he said it earlier, the mistake in qualifying was my mistake. I messed up, and he really wants to make up for it, for himself, but also for his Jaguar team.
No added time in this race because we haven't had any safety car or full course yellows, so no added time. So it will finish in 4 minutes plus 1 lap. Gunter's all over the shop here, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Gunter's rear tyres are starting to overheat. He's going to be pushing harder to try and stay ahead of Mitch Evans, which is going to overheat the tyres even more. Seti Camera, I think he's starting to struggle with energy, only 10% left.
He has got 1.2 seconds to Da Costa. He's got about 12 seconds back to France in 11th. So I think that he should be good to score finally some points for he and the Dragon team. But Evans, this is the fight. Can Evans gain through the order? If he gains 2 more places and goes from 7th up to 5th, that is 4 extra points in the championship. So he'd then just be 24 points off Stoffel van Dorn in the championship lead. So Evans would love to gain these 2 places, but it's going to be tough for him as he comes across the line with less than 3 minutes plus 1 lap to go.
And if you're Mitch Evans, how aggressive are you going to be? You've got those points for 7th place pretty much in the bag, you've got to say. Are those extra points up to 5th? Is it worth the risk? Or even 6th? Is it worth the risk just to attack Max Gunter? You've got to have, I mean, he's obviously going to try, but it's
what do you think?
When push comes to shove, I think Mitch Evans is going to go for it.
Okay.
He's up against it, Jack. You know, Stoffel van Dorn's edging further and further ahead in the championship. Every point is going to matter. If he's going to have any chance of catching him in the 3 races we're going to have left after this afternoon.
Jake Dennis leading the way down into the anchor. Swings left through turn 17, the corner named after him after winning the inaugural race last year. De Grassi has now been given a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision with Robin Freitz, so that will maybe drop De Grassi out of the points. He's got a 5.1 second advantage to Buemi, so we'll keep an eye on that one. But across the line now, I think we're going to have 3 to go, right? Because we're coming across the line now. It won't have ticked to 0 before the end of the next lap. De Vries and Cassidy here fighting. De Vries defending into turn 1. The battle is on for the final podium position. Da Costa uses his fan boost to try and get past Sergio Sede Camera into the first corner. But De Vries and Cassidy fighting over the final podium places. This is going to be a lot of fun in the final 3 laps. Da Costa did manage to get Sergio Sede Camera.
He's looking for that sort of undercut. He's trying to get back to the throttle early. He did. He's right there through turn 9. Is he brave enough to try and pass on the brakes into turn 10? De Vries going defensively to the inside.
Cassidy has overtaken there twice in the course of the E-Prix, but only really when he was in attack mode. But they were so loose on the rear for Nick De Vries. This could be the opportunity for Cassidy. Coming down towards the anchor. The fight for 3rd position. De Vries knows it. Covers the inside.
See Cassidy looking for the switchback, but the nose of the car was too long and instead he drove into the back of him. Is he feeling like a cheeky little lunge into turn 21 at the top of the ramp?
I've seen him pass there today. I think he's setting it up
there.
Oh,
he is!
Here they come, and De Vries sees it coming. Another lockup for Nick De Vries. This is the fight over 3rd place. Cassidy is all over the back of the Mercedes driver.
But De Vries is doing stuff he doesn't want to do. He's overheating those tyres. Does Cassidy have enough to make a lunge into 1?
2 to go.
Oh, late move on the brakes from Nick Cassidy. I'm sorry, from Nick De Vries. Battle of the Nicks again, but yeah, that was late.
We've already seen Robin Freitz get a time penalty for moving under braking, then nose to tail. This fight for 3rd place. We're on the penultimate lap of the LondonEprix, and Cassidy has had a really strong drive to come through the order and maybe pick up a podium for the Envision team. He has a slide now, coming out of Sandstone and down towards Custom House. De Vries again, just covering the inside.
Just protecting the inside, but he loses a bit of momentum we did last time. Look how close Cassidy is to both walls, entry and exit.
Cassidy is on a mission here to pick up a podium. Again, De Vries covers so early.
Can Cassidy do the cutback? He's trying to go all the way around outside, nothing doing there.
That was ambitious from Cassidy, and I love it.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Again, watch Cassidy try and set up, carry more curb through 19. Oh, might have overdone it that time.
De Vries is defending everywhere. Jake Dennis across the line to start the final lap of the race that he has led from start to finish, but Cassidy is going to set De Vries up beautifully.
He has.
Coming down the start-finish straight, De Vries covers the inside. What is Cassidy going to decide to do? Late move again from De Vries. Cassidy has it all locked up, and De Vries feeds him into the wall. This is rude stuff from Nick De Vries, and Cassidy will be getting frustrated at this. It's surprising that this is allowed when France was given penalties for moving under braking, but also, how is their energy going to be on this final lap?
I think Cassidy was a bit slow through turn 7, couldn't get the car turned. You see the gap open up a little bit to Nick De Vries ahead of him, but some very robust defending from Nick De Vries as our race leader. Jake Dennis just going serenely about his job.
He has absolutely bossed this, and the crowd are on their feet for Dennis as he comes through the corner named after him for the final time. The winner of the inaugural LondonEprix 12 months ago looks like he's about to wrap up another, up into the final couple of corners. Qualified on pole position, drove away from the rest of the field, and Jake Dennis, through the final corner, takes a dominant win in London. Van Dorn second across the line to extend his championship lead. Who is going to be with them on the podium? It's going to be De Vries.
That's how you win a FormulaE race. Get in! Woo!
Dennis delighted. De Vries in third. Cassidy fourth. Fifth for Oliver Askew. Evans got sixth. Gunter dropped away at the end. Gunter ran out of energy. Gunter's crawling across the line. Look at him rolling across the line. He's out of energy, Gunter. And Mitch Evans gets him into sixth place. What a strong finish. It's Sete Camara. Sete Camara doesn't score points. He's come to a halt on the final lap of the race. Disaster for Sete Camara. Such a shame for the Brazilian. There he is, he's got going again now. But Sete Camara doesn't score points when he looked set to score he and Dragons. But there's the celebration at Andretti. And Dario now is going to speak to Jake Dennis, the race winner. Jake Dennis.
Jake, it's Dario on TV, another home win, well done.
Well, I know don't know if he heard us or he's not, but he's enjoying the celebrations, isn't he, at the moment?
As he should. Look at that.
Look at that.
Crowd appreciation from the fans. That's phenomenal.
Give him another go.
Jake, it's Dario on television. Congratulations, another home win. Well done. He's not picking up his phone.
Okay, fantastic stuff.
Mighty stuff from Jake Evans. What? Jake Dennis even. Yeah, his brother. what an amazing drive.
Well, here comes Dennis, having radio issues, but an absolutely amazing performance. Really dominant, really bossed it. And he's going to emerge in front of the crowd here at the XL. And he will be on the top step of the podium. There's the result. Sete Camara not classified. Evans, though, in 6th place, takes a good haul of points. Good damage limitation. But Jake Dennis it is, who takes his first win of the season with a win at his home race in London. Dives into the Andretti gang. Hugs with JF Thorman. And his mates have come to see him race as well. And that's going to do his championship a load of good, actually. It might take him above the Porsches, actually, of Verline and Lotterer. He and Oliver Askew, the two Andretti teammates, get along very well, actually. They're a good pair. plenty of social media action of them touring the cities. They were wandering around New York. They were looking at the sights of London earlier this week. Van Dorn is the championship leader, though. Interested to see if there's any chat between De Vries and Cassidy, because it was fairly tough racing towards the end. But De Vries manages to hold on to the place by less than 0.3 of a second. There is Cassidy on the right-hand side, just getting weighed. Hear the atmosphere inside the XL. Gunter running out of energy right at the end, still managed to pick up that 8th place finish. Verline got a point in 10, which was a strong performance after starting so far back in the field. The fans now get ready to watch the podium ceremony in a few moments' time. The stage is set. Again, another race coming up tomorrow, and another race that could be crucial in the championship battle. But before the drivers head on to the podium, which they will in a few moments' time, we will hear from the top 3, starting off with the winner of the LondonEprix. 2.2 seconds clear of Stoffel Vandoorne at the end. He's with Nicky Shields.
Jake Dennis, huge congratulations on today's win. It's such a commanding win. You made it look easy, but I can tell by your body language you are absolutely exhausted. Talk us through that race.
Yeah, honestly, it was one of the hardest races I've ever done, just physically. As the rubber gets down on the surface, on this indoor surface, it's so hard to turn the steering wheel, but yeah, we managed to do it in 45 minutes. Honestly, the car was amazing, so super technical race, just trying to manage Stoffel and Nick. You know, they're obviously the 2 teammates working together, so I had to manage that, but nevertheless, the team did a great job. The car was incredible, and yeah, the strategy was strong, so yeah, then it was just a case of bringing it home in the last 15 laps and just be careful of Stoffel's fan boost. But yeah, insane race. Honestly, when I crossed the checker flag here in the fans was one of the best experiences of my life. It's so cool. So yeah, big thank you to all the fans out here and obviously the British support.
You had a standing ovation, which I don't think we've ever seen in FormulaE before. They were really behind you, and you really enjoyed that moment for your final lap, giving a big wave.
Honestly, I've just never experienced anything like it, and you know, I think being obviously the indoor, the lights, and obviously seeing everyone stand up is just a lifetime memory. And yeah, we've got to do the job tomorrow, so yeah, we can obviously repeat this.
Well, enjoy a very short rest, and we'll see you all again tomorrow.
Jake Dennis, winner of the LondonEprix, got away okay at the start, had to very quickly cover off Stoffel Vandoorne into the first corner. And then took his attack mode, but so did Vandoorne, so did Sergio Sede Camera. And that was the moment that Jake Dennis won the LondonEprix. Superb drive from Dennis, and a load of points for the championship. Not that he's in title contention. The man who is, though, and now has extended his lead at the top of the championship, is the Mercedes EQ driver, Stoffel Vandoorne. Started second, finished second, but extends his championship lead. He's with Nicky.
Stoffel Vandoorne, huge congratulations, extending your lead at the top of this championship. Congratulations on a second.
Yeah, it was a good day today, finishing second. Well done to Jake. I think he had an incredible day. You know, already in the practice sessions he was very fast, managed to get pole position, and then he drove a very intelligent race. So yeah, for us there was really no answer to him. I tried to stay as close as possible for as long as I could, but yeah, on this circuit it just wasn't enough to get him. But great team result, second and third. So yeah, let's keep pushing. 3 to go, and tomorrow another opportunity.
Were you hoping to use the fan boost to take him?
there was simply no no opportunity to take him. So. You know, if I would have known his strategy a little bit better before the race, maybe I would have had an opportunity to, to make a move. But yeah, it happened now. So nothing to say. Jake had a great race.
Huge congratulations, Stoffel van Dorn for Mercedes EQ.
Stoffel van Dorn finishing in second position. He extends his championship lead, which is really, really strong news for him. And we go and do it all again tomorrow afternoon here in London.